Hello students, welcome to my class. I, Dr. Swati Pandya, welcomes you. So students, up till now, in chapter 6, that is molecular basis of inheritance, we have learned so many things regarding DNA. How the DNA model that is used for replication, how the protein synthesis takes place, how the regulation of genes that is possible. And now, today's topic is regarding the usefulness of DNA. And in the in the field of genetics as well as biotechnology, when this field that has developed, it has great use of the DNA. So today we are talking about application field regarding DNA, and here a topic which is named Human Genome Project. In shortly, it is written as HGP, and it was a mega project because it was not so easy and it took many years to complete. So let us talk about it. The genetic makeup of an organism or any individual, it lies in DNA sequences. If two individuals differ, that means their DNA sequences should be differing. At least at few places they must be different. So these assumptions lead to the question of finding out the complete DNA sequence of human genome, because human is a point of interest. With the establishment of genetic engineering techniques, where it was possible to isolate and clone any piece of DNA. Isolate, we all know it have to be separated, and clone means making Xerox copy. So this was possible with the use of genetic engineering techniques, and even availability of simple and fast techniques for determining DNA sequences. So a very ambitious project of sequencing human genome was launched in year 1990. And this project was called a mega project. As I've said to you earlier, the human genome is said to have approximately 3 into 10 raised to 9 base pairs, and if the cost of sequencing required in US dollars 3 per base pair, the estimated cost in the beginning, the total estimated cost of project would be approximately 9 billion US dollars. So according to base pairs, it has calculated single base pair, we are calculating 3 US dollars. So multiplied by this much sequence. Further, if the obtained sequences were to be stored in typed form in books, and if each page of book contained 1000 letters and each book contained 1000 pages, then 3300 such books would be required to store the information of DNA sequence from a single human cell. You can calculate this much thing. The enormous amount of data which was expected to be generated also necessitated the use of high speed computational devices for storing the data as well as for retrievals as well as analysis. So all these things, it required so many high profile instruments. This project was closely associated with the rapid development of new area in biology at that particular time, that is known as bioinformatics. So this is also another field of biology which deals with this application field in molecular biology related to genetic engineering, biotechnology, or bioinformatics is another branch. So in this way, this was the new branch which was developing at that time. Now, before starting the goal, let us see what is the importance of project, and let us have a look about the starting of the Human Genome Project. So, as I have said to you, it is launched in 1990, but it completed in 2003. It was almost 13-year project, so it took long time. But before that, let us discuss about the goal of HGP. So certain goals were set, main aims were set. First is just to identify all the approximately 20,000 to 25,000 genes in human DNA. It was expected at that time in the starting of this project. Then, secondly, to determine the sequences of 3 billion base pairs which were present in human DNA. So, such a large number. Then, to store this information in databases, even to improve the tools for data analysis. Next, transfer of technologies to other sectors like to industries. Then, address ethical, legal, and social issues. ELSI, shortly it is written as this, that may arise from this project. So, many non human model organisms, such as bacteria, yeast, then even free living non pathogenic nematodes, then Drosophila, then certain plants, etc., have also been sequenced. But here we are talking about human genome sequencing. So let us see some few details regarding this project. So Human Genome Project was a 13-year project, as I have said to you, starting from 1900 and almost completing at 2003. So it took so many years, and it was coordinated by the US Department of Energy and National Institute of Health. So both combinedly they were involved in this project. During the early years of HGP, the Wellcome Trust, located at United Kingdoms, it became a major partner. Additional contributions came from Japan, France, Germany, China, and others. So these all are informations. You have to remember all these things as such. The project was completed in 2003. So knowledge about the effects of DNA variations among individuals can lead to a revolutionary new ways to diagnose, even to treat, and someday prevent the thousands of disorders that affect human beings. So this was the criteria which was expected by observing or by learning the human genome. Besides providing clues to understanding human biology, learning about some non-human organism DNA sequences can also lead to understand so many natural capabilities. And right now we have discussed, but in the fields of mostly solving challenges related to healthcare, because health is always uh, a main thing just to remember, just to for the study purpose, and even agricultural field, then production of energy, and lastly environmental remediation, because nowadays environmental pollution that is day by day increasing. So related to environment, the studies are also going on. And as I have said to you, many other organism DNA sequencing has also been done. So I have listed over here the names. Now let us see the methodologies related to this project. The methods which were involved, it included two major approaches. So in two different ways it has been done. First, The approach focused on identifying all the genes. This is the main ones, just to identify all the genes that are expressed as RNA, which is inferred as expressed sequence tags. So in shortly it is written as ESTs, expressed sequence tags. And the other took the blind approach of simply sequencing the whole set of genome that contained all the coding and non-coding sequences, and then later on assigning different regions in the sequence with functions like sequence annotation. This is the another term which you have to remember. So mainly two things, अगर मैं सिंपल लैंग्वेज में आपको बताऊं तो सबसे पहले जितनी भी जीन्स हैं उनको आइडेंटिफाई करना, उनको पहचानना. दिस वॉज वन ऑफ द मेन मेथड और जस्ट टू एम विच वॉज सेट. देन उसके बाद अलग अलग डिफरेंट रीजन्स पे जो भी सीक्वेंस प्रेजेंट हैं, कोडिंग सीक्वेंस या नॉन कोडिंग सीक्वेंस, हमको मालूम है कोडिंग सीक्वेंस दे आर डायरेक्टली इन्वॉल्व एंड नॉन कोडिंग सीक्वेंस दे आर असिस्टिंग द प्रोसेस बट प्रेजेंट होते हैं. सो कुछ जीन्स के ऐसे सेट होते हैं जो डायरेक्टली पार्टिसिपेट करते हैं, जिनको हम स्ट्रक्चरल जीन्स की तरह से पहचानते हैं. हमने लास्ट सेशंस में इनके बारे में समझ लिया है. और कुछ होते हैं रेगुलेटरी या प्रमोटर या ऑपरेटर जीन्स, तो वो डायरेक्टली कोडिंग नहीं करते हैं बट दे आर इन्वॉल्व इन द प्रोसेस, दे असिस्ट द प्रोसेस. तो उनके बारे में भी पता लगाना. तो सबसे पहले जीन्स को आइडेंटिफाई करो और फिर उनके फंक्शंस को पहचानो. सो इन शॉर्ट ये दोनों बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट काम थे और इनको फोकस किया गया. तो इन दोनों को हम अलग अलग मेन टर्म्स से पहचानते हैं, लाइक एक्सप्रेस्ड सीक्वेंस टैग्स जिसको हमने बोला है ESTs, और दूसरा हम टर्म यूज कर रहे हैं सीक्वेंस एनोटेशन. ओके, जिसमें नॉन कोडिंग एंड कोडिंग सीक्वेंस दोनों ही हम इन्वॉल्व करेंगे. So for sequencing, the total DNA from a cell is isolated. जितना भी DNA है उसको हम isolate करेंगे, सबसे पहले separate करेंगे, and then converted into random fragments of relatively smaller pieces. हम छोटे छोटे pieces में उसको convert करेंगे या टुकड़े हम उसके कर देंगे. अगर आपको याद हो, just recall the DNA is a very long polymer and there are technical limitations in sequencing very long pieces of DNA. हमने ये पहले भी डिस्कस किया है, एज सच हम पूरा नहीं कर सकते. जब हम रेप्लिकेशन पढ़ रहे थे तब भी हमने ये याद किया था कि इस तरह से पूरा लॉन्ग पीस ऑफ DNA हम एक्सट्रैक्ट या आइसोलेट नहीं कर सकते. सो वी हैव टू कन्वर्ट इट इनटू स्मॉलर पीसेस and then it is cloned in suitable host using specialized vectors. अब ये जो स्पेशल वर्ड्स हैं होस्ट एंड वेक्टर, वो आप बायोटेक्नोलॉजी वाली चैप्टर में ज़्यादा अच्छे से समझ पाओगे. तो अभी सिर्फ आपको ये वर्ड्स ही एज सच याद करने हैं. The cloning resulted into amplification of each piece of DNA fragment so that it subsequently could be sequenced with ease. हमने बहुत सारी जीरोक्स कॉपीज डेवलप की हैं. सो एम्प्लीफिकेशन मीन दैट द ईच पीस ऑफ DNA it is converted into many number of DNA. It is amplified and even the DNA fragments, they were amplified just for the easy used. So the commonly used hosts were बैक्टीरिया एंड ईस्ट. जिन ऑर्गेनिजम्स के अंदर ये प्रोसेस हो रहा है, जिनका हम यूज कर रहे हैं, उन होस्ट के नाम हमने लिए हैं. सो दे आर नोन एज होस्ट, जिनके अंदर ये प्रोसेस चल रही है क्लोनिंग की और एम्प्लीफिकेशन की. एंड दीज आर बैक्टीरिया एंड ईस्ट. इसलिए इनको हम स्पेशल वर्ड यूज कर रहे हैं, BAC, बैक्टीरियल आर्टिफिशियल क्रोमोसोम्स, and simply yeast artificial chromosomes for yeast, that is YAC. So as we are using the host bacteria and yeast, the vectors were called BAC and YAC. ठीक है, what are vectors? जो इन डीएनए सीक्वेंस को कैरी करने का काम करते हैं एक ऑर्गेनिज्म से दूसरे ऑर्गेनिज्म में, उनको हम वेक्टर्स बोल रहे हैं। और यहाँ पे हम बैक्टीरिया या ईस्ट की हेल्प लेते हैं। सो इन दिस वे दिस इज द स्टार्टिंग ऑफ मेथोडोलॉजीज। रिमेनिंग जो पूरा प्रोसेस कैसे होता है, अभी मैंने आपको खाली इंट्रोडक्शन अभी दिया है। सो मेथड किस तरह से प्रोसीड करते हैं, हम आगे बढ़ाते हैं, वो हम नेक्स्ट सेशन में पढ़ेंगे। आज के लिए हम इतना ही पढ़ रहे हैं। मेन फोकस आज के टॉपिक का था ह्यूमन जीनोम प्रोजेक्ट, और उसकी स्टार्टिंग हमने देखी, उसके बारे में इंट्रोडक्शन देखा, फिर उसके हमने गोल सेट किए। अभी ये नेक्स्ट सेशन में बाकी की सब चीज़ें ह्यूमन जीनोम प्रोजेक्ट से रिलेटेड हम कंटिन्यू करने वाले हैं। सो टिल देन, टेक केयर, बाय बाय स्टूडेंट्स।